Good morning. It's the morning after the night before, and the week is heating up. It's Wednesday, folks, the 18th day of June. The week is heating up politically, and I love it. Folks, I love it. Love how the week is heating up. You know, Rahm Emanuel, he was the former chief of staff to Obama, former mayor of Chicago. He said he'd rather be living in an exciting time than any boring time. These are exciting times, folks. These are very, very exciting times that we're living in. So much is happening, and we were comparing some notes before coming on. So many people in your ears telling you this, you know. Just before coming on, folks, we're trying to get the valid, credible information for ourselves, and we were able to confirm a bit of it. Good to have all of you on the live this morning. Good morning to you, folks. Good morning to each and every one of you. Beatrice Selby, how you doing? June Cameron, how you doing? Gisela Roman and Rena. Folks, the week is going to be hot. It's going to be hot this week. Political news. All right? Good morning, Sonia Massey Cub. Good morning. Good morning. Joel and Rena, June and Edward, Natasha. Good morning, Brenda, Eva, Desiree, Mandy, Gloria. Good morning, Brennan and Beatrice, Deborah. Good morning, folks. I ain't telling you all this election season. I got a lot of surprises. Then I tell you, folks, I got a lot of surprises, folks. And I never like to say too much until I can confirm what's happening and what's going down. Donat Adams and Everil, Mandy and Nigel, Dorothy and I see Ingrid is here, and Marcia, Edward, Beatrice, Rena, Linda and Michael, Eon. We just got to but hold the focus. Hold the focus. Sometimes I tend to lose a little focus. But we got to come back. All of us, you know. Not we imperfect. But it's us keeping each other accountable. Margaret Nelson. Good morning, Margaret Nelson. Good morning, Rio Nelson. We got to hold the focus. Sheila Boy Child. Please and thank you. Charles Humphrey. Good to have all of you on the live this morning. We're going to start this morning by talking about a couple things. GCOM, a few things GCOM. You know, GCOM trying all sorts of things. And like they think we silly. We might be big. You all know it's big. People got to stick together. We might be big, but we got sense. McGarrell Seville, Andrew Griffith, Sharon Mercurius. Think it not strange, folks, when you see all these things. Think it not strange, Janet Elias, Everett Small, David Papin. Think it not strange. Folks, if you all are avid readers, curators, connoisseurs of political history, nothing strikes you as strange. Nothing. You know. The good book itself says it. Nothing is new under the sun. Now, we wish all the political folks well. All of them. You know, whichever camp that exists, whichever camps to come. You all note my choice of words. We wish everybody well. That's one thing with this country. With this largesse, Andrew, Rassiman, Brennan, Nigel, Valerie, right, Troy and Glennis, Fennell. With this largesse that is Guyana, you got thing for everybody. We got thing for everybody. The people that I fight down, right? Maria Vera, the people that I fight down, Maria Vera, is the people that think this largesse is just for them. It's just for friends, family, and favorites. Those are the people who I fight down. Those who believe that for their views to exist, yours cannot. Yours must not. Those who see the cup as half empty as against half full. Share Mercurius, Rita Clark. Those are the folks we got some contention with. Right? Those are the folks we got some contention with. So let's start here. Let's start at the top. And then we're going to work our way. We're going to work our way back to some other issues. Let us start here. Let us start here at Claudette Who Swing. And then we're going to touch on some other issues that may or may not interest you. I don't know. That may or may not interest you. I just love this season from where we are because there's so much excitement. And you know, when you get to a certain age, you take the excitement while it comes. You know, because you know, when again, that's when Father's Day, my spirit almost left me. No, when you see the PPP putting so many things in place, and perhaps there's so much things in place because much is what cannot be numbered. That's how you use much. Right? It cannot be numbered. So even though it sounds grammatically incorrect, when we see, let's use it. When we see PPP, you know, putting so much things in place, you understand that they're nervous about this election. And that if we only hold a focus, right, we might get a big blowout win, 70%, 80%. But to me, a win is a win. Even if you sneak past, you sneak over the finish line, you hit, go over the line. A win is a win. When you see what the PPP are doing, you know they're nervous. When you see how they're changing up things at GCOM, these sudden announcements coming out of GCOM, you know they're nervous. They shorten the claims and objection period, even though they give a couple hours more per day. Mind you, today's the last day for claims and objections. Go and get registered if you haven't as yet, so you get your ID card. I'll come into that just now. More on that. Stick a pin there. You remind me, stick a pin. But when you see they've done that, they now say the prisoners can't vote. Maybe when you look at the prison demographics, you might see who the prisoners, if you're looking at hue and skin color and hair texture, you can think who they're likely to vote for. So don't let me let them vote. When you see how they're changing up the nomination form, suddenly that gives them a particular advantage. Huh? You understand the jumpy? They are jumpy. The PPP is not sitting down hoping for no blowout victory. They can talk about landslide. They can talk about landslide. But folks, they're not sitting on their laurels hoping that because they open the Harbor Bridge, the new Harbor Bridge, on the 31st of August, they're going to send them resoundingly, right, over the finish line. They're not banking on that alone. They're not banking on these half-baked roads and shells. I hope you all catch the podcast yesterday. I spoke extensively on shells. They were once again shells. Now, the championing shells, shell building, shell company. PPP itself is a shell. But they are nervous. They are very nervous. So Jackie will talk about landslide victory. But when you see how they're nervous, and listen to me, let me tell you all this. You see, when you're nervous, you're liable to make. Yeah, apologies there. So they will say, give no credence to Ashudin Mohammed. Let me know if you're all hearing me. They will say, don't give no credence to Ashudin Mohammed. And then they will call their friends at the airlines, and they will tell them, when they call, tell them everything book out. When they call, so if you want to get into Region 9, you got to go through the trail. The long, grueling trail. By the time you get to Region 9, you're too tired to campaign. You see? But we got to be just as resolute as them boys, just as determined as them boys, just as focused as them boys. But I can say what they decided about. We don't care nothing but Ashwadin. Right? We don't care nothing but Ashwadin. They're going to say that. They don't concern we. He's going nowhere. He can't win nothing. But when you look at the actions, that's the point I want to make. When they got their supporters going out and protest, they're going to be sanctioned from Freedom House. PPP people do nothing unless it is sanctioned from the top. They don't run out easily. You see? They don't run out while. And they're not even going to suggest a protest. They're going to come from the top. Right? So they can call the group in Maruka and say, you go out. Bap, bap, bap. That's what they can do. Call the group in Maruka. Say, when he come there, you are protesting. But y'all, I tell me, y'all, I'm frightened. Huh? When they go to Region 6 in the Edward Village or wherever the place name, you are all up in the face. But in the press conference, landslide. But they're nervous on the ground. Claims and objections. I'm being told that the PPP pulling all kinds of people out of the woodworks to get registered. While you're all iffy. I don't think we want this bad enough. I don't think so. Many elections back. Case in point, many elections back. Right? Many elections back. And I got a couple elections in me left. I got 4 or 5 elections in me left. You hear me? Before I sign off. I got a couple elections. The election cycle is 5 years. You hear me? I got 4 or 5 elections in me left. I want you all to know that. You better hold a focus. But a couple elections back, I remember when James, same James, man, was in the PNCR. He was working the Sophia area. I was in his group, helping to bring out the vote for that election. This is about 3-4 elections back. Working, unknown, just working, helping to get out the vote. I was in his group. And I remember being in Sophia, going and talk to some young men. Folks, the polling station is 2 streets away. And people say, no, God, it's a far go, man. You got a car saying, I can give you a lift. You got to vote. If you ain't got to vote, you ain't got a voice. You cannot vote. And then you say them boys doing mischief, shooting we down, gunning we down. People say, man, oh, Father, it's so far I gotta go. You got a car to carry them, you know. I'm talking about being resolute. You got it. This is the final day for claims and objections up to 8 o'clock to get your ID card. And some people say, oh, no, God, I get a little time off from work. You care about the future? And get a little time off? And this and that. And mind you, they don't call them supervisors and say, no, say, don't get no time off. Let it go after work. You got to be resolute. Focus about this thing. We got to get them out. So, I'm being told turning up at these registration sites. All kind of people. I'm hearing it started bringing the Venezuelans. Right? You'll see them huddle outside, giving instructions. The people come inside confused. Because when plenty of people are talking in your ears, you're confused. Oh, jeez. Why here again? Folks, they're gone up to the desk. Folks, I really knows why you come, but something to tell me I need to do here. Confused. People who focus operate differently. Soon as you gone up to the desk, wait one. I got my birth certificate here. I got my this, I got my that. I got a deed poll. Right? I left the ungrateful dog. We gotta be focused. We gotta be disciplined. Them boys doing the most. I was told at another registration site, a young man come in to register with some documentation. The young man telling the clerk, this man that bring me here, I really know he. And based on the documentation, they said, all right, well, who's Cheryl here? They said, Cheryl here is your auntie. No, I know no Cheryl. This is a man registering, you know. The point I want to make, them boys are doing all kinds of dastardly acts already. That is why when we went to the Amerindian hostel in Region 1 in Mabaruma, those folks told us, we're waiting on our birth certificate. We're waiting on our passport to come from Georgetown. Venezuelans. No connection to Guyana, save and except they come for some respite from the hardships in Venezuela. We're waiting on the birth paper. That is why I keep saying to you, right? That is why I keep saying to you, this election here, the rigging has already started. When you see what's happening at GCOM, and you see what is happening here, you're getting the information from different places. This skullduggery is already afoot. The mischief is afoot, folks. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing I want to deposit this morning. The first thing I want to put out there. Right? And we were prepared to talk about what we saw on Norman Brown's page. Norman seemed to have been very insightful this morning. And then, like many of you, we saw as well breaking on Gordon Mosley's news site. I want to give it the prominence it deserves. Via Gordon News Media, that's what I was looking for. News source, another good place for valid and credible information. That Amanzo has resigned from the PNCR. She has resigned from Parliament. I don't like to get into people's party business, but since it's out there, it seemed to. I think I saw Gordon said he spoke with Leader Norton. He spoke with Amanzo, and it is confirmed. I said Amanzo confirmed. That's the first thing. Amanzo has confirmed it to News Source, and so I'm going on that she has resigned from the PNCR, she has resigned from the National Assembly, and there is some launch, perhaps of our own political party that is imminent. Now, the same way I say, God bless Sabona Broom's endeavors, the same way I say, God bless Amanzo Walton Desire's endeavors. You know, Amanzo is still my sister, right? If she believes this is the path she should go in, she's a big person. She is a big person. And so I give her the latitude, you know, to do what she got to do. When you come on to an organization, you say, for the rest of your life, you know, she's a big person and she has to make decisions of her own. Right? That is the extent of it. Now that we've gotten confirmation from news source that she has resigned from the PNCR, and she has, I say, best wishes and whatever the future holds. Right? Best wishes. And you know, I talk with my sister Simona Brooms often. Right? And every time we engage, I say, you gotta keep pushing. You gotta keep out there. Right? This thing politics don't see to nobody, you know, easily. There's a reason why the PNCR is a juggernaut. There's a reason why the PPP, like it or not, is a juggernaut. You know, AFC coming to come, Kitty Carter, backfiring a little bit. Kitty Carters, but there's a reason why. You gotta keep pushing and pushing hard. You know, when I talked to my friend Odessa, I said the same thing too. Push. You gotta push over there, T. Mohammed. I said everything north of the PPP is opposition. So I want to start by saying, you know, if that's the way she's going, congrats to her. I can tell you some definitive things about me. All right? Definitive things about me. They got other stuff I'm hearing that I'm trying to get some confirmation. Other people, you know, in this process. But I figured that before we get through this, we can get 1 or 2 more surprises. So again, I want you to underscore that. Congratulations. If this is a direction our sister thinks that she should be taken, you know, more power to her, more power to Simona, all of the other political parties. You know, this is about contest. This is about contest. Not likes and shares, and who you spare tech. So bring it. And as I talk about a Manza, I can't talk about Manza and let myself out. I also read it in a news source that there's a press conference slated for sometime today. I also read that. So we're gonna look for that, and we'll hear officially from Amanza. Look, I think reasons don't matter. Why you did what you did. Right? Where you going? What you doing? That's the important thing. And how you're going to achieve those objectives. Right? Why and all that, don't. It's neither here nor there for me. I want to hear what she's doing and how she believes she's going to obtain her objective if that is where she's going, a new political party or what have you. I want to know the vision. You see, remember us talking 2 mornings back, and we were raising the point of interests, personal ambitions, and this is not to Manzo, but we raise it here in our broadcast. Ideology. That is what I'd be keen to listen to. What is her? What are the ideological underpinnings of this new political endeavor, if there is one? And I'd love to see the divergence from those underpinnings. Don't tell me liking who you like and all of that. Right? There is that. And I wouldn't divorce that from anybody who got quarrels with anybody. But as against quarrels, if you're leading people, I want to hear that. I want to hear it from T. Mohammed. I want to hear it from Simona, and I've seen Simona putting out some of that recently. This is the what is Simona's party's name? I'm seeing it in my head. Liberty for y'all help me out. Liberty for prosperity. I want to do it justice. I don't want to sound facetious by any means. Assembly for liberty and prosperity. Am I right? Assembly for liberty and prosperity. I've been seeing Simona putting that out. So I'd be keen to listen for that. What are the ideological underpinnings, of this new move forward? Because it was President Granger who said quite recently, put into context, don't worry with positions and power. What are the policies that you'd be pursuing that is dissimilar from what might be offered elsewhere? Right? What are those ideological underpinnings? So that is very key. But I wanted to say, I want to talk about the Manza, and I'm sticking my own story because I feel like I don't talk about it here enough. You know, because I'm hearing a lot of things. I keep hearing that I left in, thank you, Tessa Lane Eastman, Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity, ALP. I was seeing it there in my mind's eye, but like I wasn't getting it clearly. Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity. What are the ideological? You hear it when you follow American politics, right? Those of you who are in the diaspora, you all are Guyanese and you follow the thing. You hear who's on the left. The left is an ideological, there are ideological underpinnings there. What the left believes in, lower taxes and this and that and education and healthcare, and then you got the right, and then you got the center, the far right, you got the far left. It's about ideology. A small part of it is who you like, who you spare tech. And unless we shift the politics to a slate, what is your slate? What is your platform? What is your manifesto? Let me see, we don't have time manifesto. What are your policy positions? What's your policy in education? What's your policy on crime? What's your foreign policy? What do you believe in healthcare? You know, free education, crime and security. What do you believe in that? Your economic, what's your economic policy? No. We as a people, we got to shift from like who you spirit tech. I ain't like Duncan. He too loud. He too this, he too tall, he too short. He too brown, he too black, he too white, he too what have you. But I've been hearing, right? I left him to go to the PNCR. Folks, I don't know how many times I got to say this. My membership is paid up in the Alliance for Change up until 2029. Up until 2029. And I intend to be there in the Alliance for Change and intend to renew my membership, God willing, after 2029. You hear me? Me just sign up till 2029 because me had nothing to do. I love my party. Sometimes we get a little big for our boots and so on. Sometimes we do very well. You know, and sometimes we fall short. It's not all political parties. But I have no intention of leaving my party. I heard people say the same from my colleagues, Jurito Finance and Ricky Ramsarup as well. No, I can't talk for them. I can't be remiss of me. Them is big people like a Manzo. They could talk for themselves and make decisions for themselves. But I don't think they're leaving. If I can read the tea leaves, if I know them. But again, I say I can't talk for them. I can't speak for them. But I don't think they're leaving either. But I'll tell you this, as I have said before, countless times, right? As I've said before, countless times, I want to work with a grouping that involves the PNCR. It gives us the best chance to get across the finish line come September 1. I think if we do anything less, and I'm speaking for me, I'm not speaking for anybody else. And y'all can tell me if I have swayed, because y'all have been here with me a long time. If I'm saying anything different. This is who I am. I do not intend to leave my party. Don't look for it. You're going to be looking a long time. Now, if the kick mouth is something different. If I'm persona non grata, excommunicado, is something different. I have no intentions of leaving. But I have said and I have maintained that I'm 150%, 200% coalition. Politics is also about numbers, not feelings, numbers. And I believe because the PNCR is the bigger of the stakeholders in this coalition process, I would love to see them at the table as well. I do not believe that together we have vastly differing ideological underpinnings. I've worked with them for the last 10 years. And when I look at their policies and programs, I do not think it is dissimilar in what I believe in as a member of the Alliance for Change, what I believe in personally. And so I have no regrets in saying that. I would love to see them at the table, any table where coalition talks are concerned. And I would love to work with them and will continue to work with them in this process to get us past the finish line, September 1, 2025. I have worked with them for the last 10 years. For the last 10 years. And I will continue to work. That's not going to change. So I do not see how that translates to going with the PNCR. I'm with them for the last 10 years, working together to move this country forward. That is where I am personally. Y'all can tell me if I'm switching up on y'all. Right? No, I cannot, and I will not blame anybody for decisions they've made or make or will make. As I said, we are all big people in this process. Right? I don't see my colleague Jurita Finance leaving the Alliance for Change. I do not see my colleague Ricky Dinarain Ramsarup leaving the Alliance for Change. I'm hearing that as far as I know. Right? As I said, I can't talk for them. They could talk for themselves. I could talk for me. And I have zero intention. And I've said it here before. Tell me if I'm lying. If there's one thing you all can depend on in your day, let it be me. Let it be me. I ain't going no place in that regard. And I will continue to work forward to that goal. That is my goal. To see us return to office. Right? I don't know what you call it. But now it's the APNU coalition. You know? We all there and we working. This thing is about numbers, not likes and shares. Please and thank you. It's about organization as well. And I believe this confabulation gives us the best opportunity to get there. So y'all don't listen to no hearsay. I'm telling you where I am. That is my mind on this matter here. Please and thank you. So I'm looking forward to what unfolds today. And I dare say, this is not the only thing that's going to unfold this week. You will hear some other issues, some other announcements this week. Because like I said, I'm trying to confirm a couple of things. Right? I would like to confirm a couple of things before I shoot it out there at you folks. All right, but this is the political season. You're gonna brace yourself. I ain't gonna be surprised by nothing. Sometimes you gotta psych yourself like that. I will not be surprised. You think of the worst thing that could happen, right? And then when you see some other things happening, it don't seem so bad at all because you're under that point, right? And I think, as I said, I am very, very optimistic. I'm very, very hopeful. I'm very, very buoyant about this election. Because not only when I see the organization that is coming together, right, in the APNU coalition, right, and the boots that are hitting the ground in the APNU coalition, I am very excited, very optimistic. And then when I see how nervous them boys are on the other side, I am more jubilant because I know they're frightened. This landslide foolishness that they're talking about, you know, a lot of commentators have said that we're going to have a lot of close elections in the foreseeable future. We're going to have a lot of close elections. You ain't going to blow out Jaguar won't give us the impression as though you get some mere motley. You know? They can get 64 of the 65 seats in the National Assembly. Madness. But I heard him of recent walking back now. This landslide thing. Lowering expectations. That's politics too. You know, in a recent press conference, I heard him say, well, we got how much ever 100,000, hundreds of thousands of voters. We only want 51%. That sounds like a landslide to me. You know, he's a split personality individual, nonetheless. That sounds like a landslide. So he's even recalibrating, right? Because how do you go and tell your people sensibly, we can get a landslide, when they're seeing what's happening out there, when they're seeing people shifting and so on, people moving, the movements. So he ain't got nothing to worry about with us. When they look and they see how many of their supporters going out to different meetings, you think them a worry? Huh? All these half-baked projects that they got, them a worry? Huh? When they got people like critics in their camp, folks, they are not worried. Why should we be on the back foot? Why? Why should we be on the back foot? That's what I want to know. Make it make sense. Good folks, make it make sense. So, last evening on our podcast, we talked about Priya versus Bardness, the latest saga. Folks, it is instructive to me. Y'all want to hear the long of it? Watch the podcast from last night. It's still on our page. It's still on YouTube. But the short of it, it is instructive to me that critics were so disrespectful to Priya. Right? None of the PPP people are my favorite people. And I don't think I know them well enough to call any of them my friends. I know them well enough. Right? As a matter of fact, I ain't like none of them. I ain't like none of them. But even with that political distance between us, I would never say Priya is a a-hole. She's a S, F, L, G. Critics were so disrespectful. So disrespectful. Right? I see a couple of our people running out with statements. Let it be the extent of my statement. Teach his own. Let it be the extent of my statement. He was disrespectful. Very much so. Even beyond the pale, as they say. But what was instructive to me, friends, what was instructive to me is that I ain't hear nothing out of Jagdu yet. I ain't hear, it's what secret critics are for them, man. It's what secrets. Like, you know, where somebody body is buried. And then I say that metaphorically, by the way. Right? In the political arena, you talk about bodies buried, you talk about mischief that has been done. You know? You know some of the things they have done. And as people want to say, not only he knows where the body buried, he might have buried the bodies himself. Again, I'm talking metaphorically. I hope you are mature enough. Because I can hear somebody saying, oh God, these critics kill people. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking political mischief that has been done by the PPP, like he knows about that. You can't have one of your ministers so vilified. Irfan says nothing. This is a man who's always rigors. This. And you could But why are we surprised? Why are we even surprised? Remember, the PPP, well, it was we as a country too, had a minister assassinated. People never look over the shoulder, though. Right? Because even in their hierarchy, you got who in the inner circle and who out. It is obvious as day. It is obvious as day, that the PPP has factions. The two main factions is the Irfan faction and the Jagdeo faction. And it is clear as day. Priya is in the Irfan faction. Right? She's politically protected in the Irfan faction. While critics is obviously in the Jagdeo faction. And that is why Priya knows she can say so much, but she ain't crossing a certain line. Yes, I should have charged him. I should have gone reported cyber crimes, intimidation, incitement. But I will not, because she's not willing to cross the Jagdeo line. This has nothing to do with leniency or clemency, mercy. Has nothing to do with that. She will not cross the Jagdeo line. She can walk right up to it. She can shout across and she can cuss. Notice, she was talking about civility, but she calling me a crass and a dog and an ungrateful dog and this and all manner of things too. A total contradiction. But because there are factions there, I want to pray. All right, don't let me do it. There are factions there. She can come to the line, but she ain't crossing it. Because to carry Jagdeo Bai to court is to cross the line. To make a cyber crimes report against Jagdeo Bai critics is to cross the line. And while she can try to save face, she ain't crossing that line. It was a contradiction to hear Priya says, what message are we sending to our young girls and so on about having men like this in their homes? But you're going to report the matter. What message you sending? What message are you sending? Those are the contradictions inherent in our statement. You got legislation to deal with these idiots, these fools, these stupidity bills, or words, while calling for mature political discourse. Right? He's neither a journalist, he's neither this, but he can go and interview Vice President on Thursday tomorrow. The same man, a minister, says he's not a real journalist, he's a nobody. You see, she's allowed, she's allowed, but she ain't crossing the Rubicon for make the police report and so on, because there's a different dimension there. See, I don't take setup from Priya. I abhor what he said. Not that he said it to Priya, that he said it to anybody. And some of y'all support that because y'all going, y'all listen, y'all got itchy ears and so on. You're going, you listen. But to each his own. I saw him publish that there's a plot to ambush him in the jungles of Guyana. See, there's a plot brewing by two wealthy families. I ain't talking about me. One an enemy and another about to become an enemy. What is this? This is one of the chief vices for the administration. Talking about being ambushed. I wonder if he has made a report to the Guyana police station. About being this impending ambush by two wealthy families. Are these exciting political times? He says he's about to be ambushed in the bush. I saw somebody say, well, stay out the bush. Go finish the Bellevue pump station. Go finish the work you started behind that in the Good Hope squatting area there. Go and start the work. You got the $600 million contract for at the back of Good Hope there. Go and finish the work at Bellevue. Folks, no doubt. No doubt. These are exciting, very exciting political time. We have no reason to doubt news source, as I said. No reason at all. And they said that Amanzo has resigned, Amanzo Walton this year, Member of Parliament, Shadow for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, has resigned from the PNCR. She has tendered also a resignation as an MP, and she's to have a press conference today. And it looks likely that she's starting her own political outfit. As we have more information, you guys will have it, but that is the information at the moment, folks. Please and thanks. We're going to see you guys on the next broadcast. That being said, good folks, that's our time for today, and that's our program. See you guys soon. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Pace and power, boots on the ground. Thanks for joining us. Standing Tall, that's a name. Leon Chung, Marcia, Nigel, and Pamela, Lester, John, Roxanne, Dolly, all the other folks are with us this morning. That's going to do it for us today. Stay safe. Stay safe. Thank you.